Hello everyone, my name is Yash Chavan. I am the student of Elite Institute of Pharma Skills Pune. Giving a short introduction about the DSMB. So DSMB is a data safety monitoring board. So this is usually a committee used to monitor safety in clinical trials. So this committee consists of various of experts formed from outside of the pharmaceutical company or CRO commissioning or conducting a particular clinical trial. So the aim of this DSMB committee is to provide impartial safety advice and to compare the benefit versus risk so that the benefit should be more than the risk. Normally, DSMB review unblinded study information during the conduct of the study. Based on its review, the DSMB provides the sponsor with recommendation regarding study modification, continuation or termination. So they can tell that whether this study can go ahead or not, what are the risks, what are the benefits. So this is a basic information about the data safety monitoring board. When and why is data monitoring committee vital? So as we all know that DSMB is a group of experts formed from outside of the pharmaceutical company. So when a typically drug is administered to the patient in the clinical trials, various adverse reaction as well as adverse events are observed. So many of them are underreported. So the role of DSMB here is to monitor them, analyze them and provide advices to the sponsorer that what should be done, whether this clinical trial should be performed further or it should be stopped there and there. So they usually provide whether the benefits are more than risk, what are the risk factor of the drug. So hence that is why data monitoring committee is vital. Need for a data and safety monitoring board. So here are the main points so that we understand why there is a need for a data and safety monitoring board. First is risk to trial participant. Second is practicality of DSMB review. Third is assurance of scientific validity. And the fourth is the need for DSMB for studies of less serious outcomes. DSMB responsibility. So first is effectiveness. So if there is case of disease with serious outcome, DSMB may lead to give the advice of early termination. The second is safety. Again, the benefits versus the risk is compared and the advices are given to the sponsorer whether the trial is being safe or not. The third is study conduct. So the recruitment, ineligibility, non-compliance, protocol deviation, all are overlooked by the DSMB. And the fourth is external data. So DSMB monitors that whether the external information have any effect on the following ongoing clinical trial study. So this is all about the DSMB responsibilities. The DSMB reviews the blinded data that are not available to the investigator or anyone else. They recommend to stop the trial or the part of trial if there is the safety issue. Regular reviews of our voice are conducted by National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. The DSMB for voice is composed of representatives from the US and non-US countries including in Africa, who are independent of the study, investigators, pharmaceutical sponsors, and funding agency. The DSMB for Voice has conducted 5 routine reviews of the study to the date. The most recent DSMB took place on 16 September 2011. It was the third review of safety data and the second look at the efficacy. Many occasion occurs when DSMB actually makes their recommendation. The first is overwhelming positive effect. When the if trial is giving the benefits, the DSMB will recommend to continue the trial and increase its benefits. The second point is harm. If there is safety issues and the benefit is less than the risk and it will cause health problem to the patient, the DSMB may recommend to cancel the trial, or we can say to stop the trial. So talking about the committee composition, a DSMB may have a few as 3 members, but may need to larger when representation of multiple scientific and disciplines or a wider range of perspective is desirable. When the trial is of long duration of time, it is better that the committee composition is of reduced members, because many of them could not attend the meeting for long duration of time. So less the members in the committee, the more it will be better. The DSMB composition should be multidisciplinary, including but not limited to clinical medicine, biostatistics, bioethics, pharmacology, clinical trial methodologies, and other disciplines relevant to study. For logistical reasons, the clinical trial sponsor or principal investigator may strive to have the fewest number of DSMB members possible while maintaining representation of all needed expertise. DSMB members shall have no real or perceived conflicts of interest with the clinical trial. Individuals who are invited to serve on DSMB should disclose in writing to the clinical trial sponsor or principal investigator any potential conflicts. The chairperson of the DSMB should be selected among the voting members and have previous experience in monitoring clinical trial. An executive secretary may be designated to facilitate effective functioning of the DSMB. The executive secretary may not vote or be present during the closed or executive session of DSMB. Non-voting, non-member ex officio attendee may participate in DSMB meeting to provide information and answer questions as needed. Example, research staff involved with the study. This is all about committee composition. Talking about DSMB meetings, face-to-face meetings are usually preferable, but in some situations, telephonic meetings are also done. Each meeting should be divided into 3 parts. The first part is called as open session, in which the clinical trial team are requested on the basis of DSMB to present their review on the trial conduct. The second part is the closed session, in which only DSMB members are present in the closed session who vote out, and the final executive session involving only DSMB members should be held to show the DSMB opportunity to discuss the general conduct of the trial and outcome results, including toxicities and adverse events, develop recommendation and vote as necessary. This is all about DSMB meetings. This is the DSMB meeting format in which all the 3 sessions are covered, that is open session, closed session and executive session, as well as the debriefing session in which the DSMB medical and statistical members and sponsor are involved. This is the flow chart in which we can understand that at which phase the DSMB is required. This is the DSMB report format, which should include: first is protocol title, second is protocol number, third is protocol version, fourth is principal investigator's name, fifth is meeting date, sixth is date report issued, seventh is data cutoff date, eighth is date of last data review, and last is who it is prepared by. Reimbursement: DSMB members should be intellectually and financially independent of the trial investigator. If the reimbursement of DSMB members for their participation is not directly from the NIDCR, then reimbursement must be provided by funds restricted for this purpose. DSMB members will receive per diem and travel expenses in accordance with standard government travel regulation. Members who are officers or employees of the United States shall not receive compensation for service on the DSMB. Thank you for listening to my presentation.